Okay, we are Gen V. We are doing a commentary on our own selves.
That's right. We just went to the Auckland Improv Festival, and usually what we do here with you is do some improv. But now that you've had a chance to see the show, and you haven't already, go to the YouTube
Go check it
somewhere
out.
on there and check it out. We're going to give you the inside look as to what we were thinking, what the vibe was, and all that of our show, which is right here on the screen. So, uh, quick intro to it. We were the second act of another act. Felt like the audience was kind of stagnant, so our intro went a little bit longer just to kind of warm people up. And 4 minutes before we went on stage, Lindsay said, "Hey, why don't we ask the audience to repeat any kind of to sing back to us any kind of repeated lyrics, essentially
Lines,
sing the choruses
choruses
with
to
us."
us. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so that was a whole new dynamic, but I really felt it was helpful in the end, and it turned our show less from a show where we are just up there performing a play to one that was really much more interactive and much more transparent in the way that we're
Yes,
doing things, which I think is good for
which
festivals.
I love
Yeah,
personally. Yeah.
and I really like that style too. I mean, I like both styles, but I like this style. And one thing that I really liked about it is that there's lots of improvisers watching, so they can get a little bit of an idea of what's going on in our heads. But this time we're going to be watching it for the first time together and doing commentary, sometimes pausing if necessary or not. So watch the show, and this should be the second time that you've seen it. Anything else, Lindsay, before we start?
And I watched the show, enjoyed the show, and yeah, it was an awesome show.
Beautiful. Here we go.
Oh, fuck.
Got to start with a swear word, very important.
I'm
Yeah, I was gonna
nervous. My
say.
fourth one breaking now.
I know you're nervous, so just take your time.
Okay.
It's important,
I,
but take your time.
Everybody knows that college exams are important, Mom.
Yes.
So at
You
this
don't have to
point,
remind me.
I have no idea what's going
But
to
you
happen.
have
This
the
is in the
genes.
fear mode of like, what is this whole show going to be about? Oh my
genes
God, we're
of
doing
your
it about
mother,
pencils
and
for
your
an
mother
hour.
did very well in college.
But Lindsay comes in
Very
here
well on your exams.
I did.
And on my
No
fourth,
pressure.
My
with
fourth
some
time, I will do well
with
as
some
well.
nice, loving
right.
support, and then I
Just a
take
little
it
bit of
very
faith in
personally, so we have
yourself,
something
that's
more to
all.
work with rather
Yeah?
than just throwing it
Yes.
away.
Okay. I just want to be,
And at this point, Ben's trying to work out how to sit and not have the ukulele smash on the side of the.
Or-
That's right. So the mechanics of the show are that we both have ukuleles strapped to our backs, and these chairs that are kind of hollow. So every time the chairs are hit, it makes a little
It hits
bonk
it.
sound,
Yeah.
and the ukulele makes a bonk sound. So I'm dealing with that. So I'm actually sitting on the side of the chair, as you can see here, rather than on the chair itself, so that the ukulele doesn't get smashed.
And
And
also, maybe it wasn't apparent to everybody that the suggestion we got was pencil. So, Ben, being the literal man that he is, starts with a pencil.
with the pencil,
So,
and that way the
so
audience
he's,
can't say, "Wait, they didn't use my pencil idea. Where's the
well, it's
pencil?"
interesting because the guy did say, "Oh, I was waiting for pencil." It's like we did it like the very
Yeah.
first line.
The very first
So
line.
that was really interesting. That audiences like sometimes I don't know
Still
they
take
don't
it
say that
personally and get
yeah.
offended.
Yeah, that you've used the suggestion. So yeah, so my take on that so far is so Ben started the scene. He took the literal suggestion. He started, and as he always does, because he's amazing at object work. He imagined the desk in front of him. He was doing the thing. He was doing a pencil, and I've come in, and all I'm doing is just sizing up, like, what is his offer? What is he doing at this point? Who is he? And then from the way he's doing it, who could I possibly be to him? And I felt like, yeah, I was somebody that knew him very well because of the way that he was speaking to me. And then he made it clear because he said, "Mum." And at that point, all I'm doing is just being very present and just listening to, okay, what are the offers that are being given?
Right. And here, right after that, I immediately go into something that is Susan Messing taught me many years ago, is basically just to make things worse. So I could tell that there was a vibe that I might be stupid, so I made things worse by saying the
Yes.
following.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to be, like a doctor.
Okay.
As soon as she said okay, I was like, all right, that's my cue. And the audience laughed, right? That means all the audience really
Yes.
thinks I'm dumb. So like, let's
Yes.
just make it worse.
Or,
Sure.
or like a lawyer,
Okay.
physicist.
So what I'm doing is I'm going up the absurdity curve and just making the jobs harder and harder.
Yeah.
People say that rocket science is really hard, but look at who's doing that now.
Okay, so that's the
This is
first
true.
big laugh. That's the first
Yeah.
big laugh.
Yeah.
And it's a great joke because it's obviously Elon Musk and everybody understands the concept. So as Ben's heightening the stakes with what he can't do because he's dumb, I am making it clear through my face and my gesture to the audience that I think he's dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I love how you scientifically break down how Ben can be made to most look stupid.
yeah, so I'm heightening with my reaction, and Ben's heightening with his dialogue. That's what's going on there.
Yeah, exactly. And so and maybe my character it's also nice if people like your characters a little bit. If you're just dumb and just dumb, then it might be harder for a character for the audience to relate. But
To care, yeah.
now that I hate Elon Musk and 70% of the
So
world's
does everybody,
population,
yeah.
then you're good. And these are largely people that are left that watch these kinds of shows. So endear ourselves
It's a
immediately
good
to it.
bet.
Like it's a
Yeah,
good
it's a good
bit.
bet.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's hopefully one of just the last bits I do in the show because we're
No,
trying to
no,
do
I said it's a
something more
good
than just
bet.
bits.
It's a good bet that
Oh.
you're betting. You're betting. No, not a good bet. It's a good bet.
It is
No,
a
it was
bit.
yeah. Well, it was a bit, but I think it wasn't. It wasn't a forced bit. It was a good bit. It was a good bet that those type of people are going to find that amusing and it's going to connect with those people.
Awesome. Yeah, and one more thing I'll say, as long as we're going into this detail, which I think would be fascinating for me if I were watching, I would love to see more improvisers break this down, is because I didn't say Elon Musk, people knew I was speaking about Elon Musk,
Yeah.
and they feel smarter that they think of Elon Musk, and therefore it gets a bigger laugh. When you make the audience feel that they are the ones that connect the dots, it gets more of a laugh than if I had just said, I think, I mean, we'll never know, but than if I had just said, well, maybe it could be rocket science. They let Elon Musk do it. You know, it's almost
Yeah.
a bit cringe if you do that.
Yeah, it would be if more of a forced bit, like a forced laugh. And this way as well, what you're doing inadvertently is creating a group mind with the audience as well. So we don't have to say the
Yes.
thing. We don't have to say the thing. We're all on board. We know what that thing is. So yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, cool.
It's true. However, I don't want you to feel that pressure. That's all. You know, maybe musician or
Okay, pause.
What?
At this stage, I know what the whole show's about. So right here, when I said musician, I go, right, here's a guy who wants to be an academic. He's trying to be as smart as his mum, but he's truly a musician. He's got the talent. This whole show is going to be the journey of him finding that thing. That was it. Knew it from that point.
Great. And just so you know what this other improviser is thinking, she just said this last line. I'm going to respond to it. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's good that you had that and that was good. And that, yeah, my character. So from your perspective, the character then was going to be like afraid to explore his art or, you know, or whatever, which I didn't know, but, you know, now I know because you're just saying it right now. And then I'm still, because we had the format that we had is that Ben is probably going to be the protagonist. And
Yes. Yeah.
and that's pretty much our only format. And so for me, protagonist is someone who has passion and has flaws. And so, and we want
And
to
a
discover
want.
how yes, and a want. And how do we get to understand why he wants those wants, why he has these passions, why he has these flaws.
Which you did
And
straight
so,
up. One of the first lines you said was, "I want to be smart. Like I want to be like you, mum." Like
ah,
you'd said your want, like almost within the first 30 seconds of it.
great.
Yeah.
And one thing that we also learned too is that if everything's fine and hunky dory at the very beginning, it's just more work to come up with more reasons and more problems later on. So even though we weren't fighting or anything, pretty fast, even though you're being very supportive of me, I was like, oh no, I've already kind of suggested that I want to be as good as you. It's just easier just to blame you and throw you under the bus. So that's what I did in about a minute. You'll see.
Yeah,
Not
but
you as the actor,
I would
but
say it was a good combination of doing that, but also me not going into conflict because audience don't like to see conflict straight off the bat a lot of the time because it puts them off. So I'm aware that like I have to be in opposition, but I can't be oppositional. So it's like we can't get into a massive like conflict. Like the first time I was going to go, oh my God, what's going on? Because remember as well, everybody who's watching, listening, that you one of your jobs is to make the audience feel like they're okay, and they're already a bit fearful because you're doing improv, and they're already scared you're going to do something fucked up and embarrass everybody, right? So it's kind of like you want to push the envelope, but you want to push it within a kind of a safe environment for them, so that they're not feeling like, oh my God, why did I get a ticket for this? This is going to be like insane. So there's always going to be just that level of unconditional positive regard, like for the audience as well, and realizing, okay, we want to definitely have opposing POVs, but not necessarily opposing each other in a conflict-ridden kind of scene to start the whole show.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And we can find that and discover that conflict as we go.
Yes.
You know, you're not going to accidentally have a half an hour show with no conflict. It just does not happen.
That's right.
Musician.
I'm not going to school to be a musician. I'm not an idiot.
Okay.
Okay, second joke
It's
that
just
the
that-
audience loved. Yeah.
Right. And the audience knows that you know, there's just a bunch of artists in there too. This is
Yeah.
where you see the curly hair factor. I don't know if you can see but if you have curly hair, you really need to frizz it, or it will clump up in awkward ways and make you look like you have holes in your head. So don't
It's
do
just
that,
the
people.
sweat. It's the sweat because he's working so hard, people. That's what's
That's
going.
right.
When you
Always
see
slick
that, you
back
just
your
go,
hair.
"He's a guy that's working hard." You know what I mean? That's what you.
That's right. And doesn't know how to take care of his hair for a show. But he
You know,
will
I've
next
heard
time.
you playing in the other room, and you do play well.
Oh, come on, Mom. That's just like a joke. I need to be academic. I need to be good at school. I need to earn $732,000 a year and retire when I'm 34.
Okay, pause. Another laugh, but again, this is Ben's wheelhouse of being extremely specific. And in improv, if you want to be funny, be very, very specific. If you want to be profound, be very vague and ambiguous. Yeah, I just love it how you're doubling down now on this. No, this is my point of view, and nothing that you're going to say is going to change my mind. And I am totally aware of that. I'm trying to kind of like soften you up, but I know that you're not gonna bend.
Yes, especially at the beginning of a show, your character does not need to change his point of view in the first
That's right.
90 seconds of the show.
That's
Let it
right.
evolve. The whole show usually is about evolving your points of view to get a different path to getting what you want.
What is my motivation? Why am I? Oh God, that's an acting thing.
Yeah, yes,
they don't mean
yes,
it
it's
that
creative.
way.
That's right.
But they don't mean it that
No,
way. They're
no.
like, conquer the world.
Cameron, let's just have a break.
Can we?
Oh, I have a name, Cameron. This is the first time. Okay, I should
Yeah,
have
yeah.
always listen to what your name is. You called me Cameron. That's good.
Yeah,
Okay, I doubt
yeah.
that I remember that for the rest of the show. We'll find out.
We don't use the name again, I don't think. I
Oh,
don't think we
okay.
use
Well, at
the
least
name
the
again.
audience feels they know Cameron.
Let's
yeah.
have a break.
Mom, I just want to be the best. Okay.
I know.
You are
Okay,
the best.
pause.
I know.
So here, my intention is at this point, because Ben, like, I don't know if anybody knows, but Ben is not only an awesome improviser, but he's a great solo improviser. So very much, he can get into like a world that's so real that he might sort of forget that I'm there. So I've deliberately like slowed him down, put my hand on his arm and made him look me in the eye just to have that moment of connection as well. Because by this point, it's been established to the audience that we are in opposition with our perspective, but they still want to see that we still love each other. So it's that whole improv thing of I can hate you, but I still have to love you at the same time. So there's that moment of connection of looking into each other's eyes, and then so now he's forced to get up off the seat and like connect. So that's kind of what happened in that moment.
That's fascinating. Yeah, to hear that. When I talk to students, sometimes they say I get so caught up in my own world, I don't
Yes.
understand what's going on, and that can happen especially at the beginning of a show.
100%. 100%, because you're trying to really embody what you're doing, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what was going on in my head there, but just in case, it's really great to connect anyway. I'm never going to complain about someone trying to connect on
Yeah.
stage. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, so another thing is that now this is very specific to what we're doing, but we are two improvisers that are also the musicians for our musical.
Yes.
And through rehearsal, which you've seen all of them by watching our other videos here,
Because you've watched them all of them.
yeah,
You've
you've watched
liked
them
them,
all.
you've subscribed, you've commented, all
Right.
of them.
And that's why you're here, Catherine. So
Yeah.
what we're looking for here is a moment at some point to where it's okay to play music. And it's always okay, but it's easier, more fun, and more fulfilling if we know more about who we are, what we want, what our
Yes.
flaws are, so that we have something to sing about first. Otherwise,
100%.
we're doing exposition in the song and trying to like rhyme about who we are and
There's
all
a
that.
lot. There's a
It's
lot
a
to do.
lot. So
Yeah,
I think me
yeah,
standing
yeah.
up here was kind of me saying, like, I'm ready to sing. Let's find out what happens.
I
But
want to be the
that's
best.
different.
Oh, he's getting the
Yeah,
ukulele.
there is.
You're the best, I want to be too. That would make me happy. I just want to go to a school where things can be less crappy than around.
That's crappy. Yeah.
So
No,
one
I
thing
find
I
that
want.
funny. I don't know why the audience didn't laugh then, but I thought
Oh,
it was funny. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
because I don't think that they're like, what's happening here? You know, what's
Oh,
going on?
he's
And
playing a
it's the
song.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is
Yeah.
also the first time. So one thing, just to talk a little bit about our process here. So bef when we submitted to this festival, that we were going to do a two-person dual ukulele musical. I had never actually played the ukulele before.
Yeah.
Never,
He
I
learnt
don't
it
think ever
and quick.
picked. Yes. So
Yeah.
that was part of it. And so another thing is that I basically hadn't done lots of music where I was rhyming before, and there's these rhyming techniques and there's these rhyming schemes that you can do and plan your rhymes ahead of time to make them funny and creative. And so did that for a while and just practiced and practiced and practiced over and over again until my brain kind of got it where I was doing it subconsciously as much as I was planning it. And so then, as a challenge for this show, I made sure not to plan any rhymes, which is really risky. I don't know if I would recommend doing that, but I only did it as a way to push myself and say, I care more about like the story and the moment, and I want to test myself to see if that conscious work I did is now in my subconscious or not. And I
Yeah.
knew that Lindsay's music and performance and my performance were okay enough so that if that didn't go well, we would still survive the show. So as you watch this, see how much actually rhymes. I wasn't planning anything that came out of my mouth. I just let it go and
Yeah.
to see what happened.
Yeah, and also I'd like to add to that like if you are doing musical improv, I mean, look, when you rhyme, the audience, it's like a magician, ta-da, like the audience loves that shit, right? But you should never ever focus on that at the cost of the story or the relationships or the characters or anything like that. So it shouldn't just be about the ta-da moment, you know. Rhyming is like awesome, but it's kind of like the last thing that you should really be thinking about.
And I've heard that before, and I just didn't really believe people that are like, oh, they're just being nice to me because, like I'm a new improviser. So they're just being easy on me and telling me to take baby steps. That is true. Like it's easier
Yeah.
to do that than for the baby steps. But what I learned the hard way by doing these rehearsals with you is that if you focus on the rhyming, the story really suffers, and
Yeah.
having the story suffer makes the improv harder. So you want to do all
Yes.
your rhyming and stuff like outside of rehearsal. Do your own self-rehearsal with rhyming
Yeah.
so you get better at it, and then just focus on developing and discovering a good story as you go. Because otherwise, as I said on another video, you'll just be writing with I can, and the next thing that comes out of I can that rhymes with it is Japan. Next thing you know, your character's in Japan for no reason because it was the only rhyme you could come up with, and it just ruins
Which
everything.
guys, go back and watch that. It's hilarious. I quite actually, that's one of my favorite characters is the businessman in Japan. But anyway, that's another story. Okay, so sometimes it's
You
happy
can survive
accidents.
it if you're experienced. You can
Yeah.
survive it, but you don't
Sometimes,
want to
yeah.
purposely screw yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, one other aspect I want us to put here is that, like if you can't get all that shit together, like don't feel bad because there is a lot of brain processing going on in that because you're trying to rhyme, which is a more mathematical side of the brain, and then you're also trying to be creative and be in the moment, but you're also trying to, going back to the mathematical brain, or I guess as Joe Bill would say, engineer and jazz musician, his thing, that you're back into engineer brain with what is the story, where am I in the story, what's the arc, and then you're back into jazz, into, oh, I'm just in the moment, what has she just said to me, what's the, where are we? So there is a lot going on cognitively at any given time in something like this. So never be hard on yourself that you didn't rhyme.
That's right. Just rehearse a million times so
Yeah.
you can appear to be more seamless when you actually do it. There's a million things that went into making this semi-seamless, but as you'll see, there's a lot of seams that you'll see as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like me, you can be who you are, you will see. If you just practice what you're really good at.
Stop being nice to me, 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 stop being nice to me. I know what you really think of me, Mom.
I love you.
And I'm dumb.
Okay, pause. Okay, so
that's my favorite line of the whole show, I think.
what?
Because it just proves that I'm not planning anything. Like, I know what you really think of me, and then you say what you think of me, and then I just add to what you said, like as part of the song.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring to everybody's attention. You saw me doing this. You saw Ben going forward to the audience, telling the audience it's okay. You can sing along with us at this point. And this is the first time that they sing along, and it's just such a joyous feeling to have them joining in the show. And at that point, I felt perceptively more relaxed. You might even see my shoulders go down. I'm breathing better because I feel like now we're in a flow. Now they're on board. Now they're part of this show. They're engaged and they've got a stake in the show now. So if you can get them to have a stake in the show and care about the show, then you've done 50% of the work. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
It was great.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna do better. I promise you some. I just need to do better on this particular exam.
I just have low bar for you.
I
feel like it's too much to ask.
Stop being nice to me. Stop being,
I'm being nice to
you. Stop
I'm being nice to you.
Stop
I'm being nice to you. I'm being nice to you because I love you, son, and I want the best for you. But I just think you need to be honest and really know where the truth sits. Just because I happen to have a high IQ, that doesn't mean it has to be you.
Okay, pause.
What was that thing?
Okay, so I was pretty happy with those laughs within the song that I got. So I've got a low bar for you, which is great. It tells us a lot about my character and how I feel, but it's also funny. And the IQU, I was cheering I got that rhyme because I hadn't rhymed anything. And sometimes that can work too. Like, so I'd started the song rhyming, and then when I wanted to go freestyle and really tell him how I felt, I went freestyler, rock the microphone, and just went that way like that so that I didn't have to rhyme. But at the end of it, to have IQ and you was just such a satisfying rhyme, and it was more satisfying because it didn't rhyme up to that point. So again, don't worry too much about every single thing has to rhyme. Sometimes the audience just loves that if that last bit rhymes. It's like, okay, cool, that's cool. So I was really happy with that.
Yeah, and then they're really on our side as well too, because they're giving us laughs pretty easily here. Not that this isn't funny, but it's not like uproarious, right? So knowing that they're kind of laughing as they go along, or almost like smiling out loud means that like we got them, So warming them up at the beginning, doing little just joking around with each other at the beginning, addressing specific people in the audience, they feel they're seen and they're part of this show.
Said about genetics that the apple doesn't fall far from
Okay, I did say that, I know.
What was
Okay,
that
pause.
you said about
That's me,
honey?
the actor. Okay, so that's me, the actor, like going, okay. So you've picked up an indiscrepancy in my character, and you're telling me I'm changing too quickly. as the actor. So I'm like I know I did say that like as the actor, but at this point I'm kind of like, because it is alluded to that I have been a hard ass with him, but when we start the scene, because generally speaking in improv we start from the middle, so in my mind when we start this whole show, that's the past. So I was an asshole and I'm on the brink of changing. This is what you're seeing as it starts, that I'm finally going, okay, just be a musician then, for fuck's sake. I got to lower my bar. So that's where it's starting, rather than we're starting at the very beginning when, she doesn't have faith in it and then she changes and then we see the whole thing. It's like, okay, let's just start from the middle. So that was interesting because it was the actor saying it, but it was also the realization that, okay, wow, we've established now through this that I have a past of being an asshole to you and trying to get you to be smarter than you are. And this is the day, because remember, in improv, why are we watching this day rather than every other day? It's because this is the day that she decides, okay, I've got to let this go. And he decides, but he's not ready. He's like, oh, that's why he's protagonist. He's got further to go. So yeah, that's a big explanation, but that's what was going on there.
Gotcha. Okay. It's so intriguing. So there's just real quick, I felt like I think, I don't really remember, but if I could watch my brain here and see, I would think that there was some maybe discrepancy, like if you had been actually hard on me or not. And clarity is always what I'm going for, especially in the first scene. So at this point, when it looked like it was wishy-washy, I wanted to put in a hard, this definitely happened, to show that that was clear that that happened. Whether it was like good for the character or not, or what have you, was a bit different. And I do feel like if one character was very much this way and then later on in their life they changed and went more that way, if both of those are true, then you get a more layered character and more to work with anyway. So I think it's easier to say that you were mean to me at some point and aren't now than it is just say you're only mean to me now, like Cinderella, or you're only nice to me now, like the fairy godmother, Cinderella's stepmom versus so it gives us that complexity and more to work with here. And then I turned out to the audience and made it all dramatic. You'll see it here.
Okay, I did say that, I know.
What was that you said about honey? I wish you were.
Okay, so setting up a background now.
That was a moment of anger.
Stop being nice to me.
So I'm trying to be nice.
Nice to me.
I'm trying to be
Stop
nice.
Being nice to me.
I'm trying to be nice.
Stop being nice
I'm
to
trying
me.
to be nice.
Okay, pause. So again, so he's saying stop being nice to me, stop being nice to me. I'm saying I'm trying to be nice to you, because basically that's the metaphor for the whole thing. As in, I'm really trying to let go of my expectation of you. I'm trying to be nice to you. So there's that really lovely juxtaposition, between him saying stop being nice to me, stop being nice to me. And I can't help but think at this point that it's partly Ben the improviser saying stop being nice to me. He doesn't like people being nice to him. He wants also fireworks. Yeah, he wants that. Yeah. So stop being nice to me. Stop it. I want the tension. I want the conflict. Stop it. Right. So there's this side, right, going on. And then it's really beautiful that he's saying that as the character and as well. And that I'm saying I'm trying to let the audience in on my inner sort of monologue of I'm trying to be nice to you. So I am being nice to you, but it's kind of hard for me to be nice to you because there's a past where I wasn't so nice.
Right. And maybe we'll learn more about the past. So I think you've got to go in a couple minutes. Should we make this like a series?
We've got about 8 minutes. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I mean, you know what people are like anyway. They can't sit and watch something forever. So we'll just do it in parts. Okay. No offense, people, but I think this scene's about to end. So let's get through this.
Yeah, I think this is the end. Let's see.
The audience called it.
You'll see, Mom. You'll see.
That's just the most cliche, stupid line ever. It's so great. So I had to repeat it. It's like the most
Yeah.
transition line like ever,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it also sets the tone, right? Like if I'm going to end scenes with a cheesy line like that, then this
Mm.
show is going to be a little cheesy. So like there you go.
Yeah, but also it's true. You literally what you're. I mean, I wouldn't be so hard about that. Like I would say what you're doing too
Not
is you're
hard.
also like milestoning for the audience. You're about to see me try fucking really hard and probably not get what I want. I mean, you're kind of like milestoning that for them, and they're quite happy for that, or awesome. They're just clapping. They know we're at the end of the scene. It's
Yes.
great. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's funny. It's a kind of a promise to the audience of something that I, as the actor,
Yes.
have no idea what's going to happen. And
Yeah.
I think I do something here for the first time that I've never done in an improv show before, which is right now.
Where should we go now?
To you with like a best friend of some sort at
A
school.
best friend or some sort.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
Okay, pause. Okay, cool. So, for context, we spoke about this beforehand, and I don't know about Ben. I'm pretty sure he's on my page with this. I'm half sure he's on my page with this. That improv is not some highfalutin theatre. Improv is theatre for the people. Okay, so the best thing about improv is the tightrope walk. People don't watch improv because they want to see you go along the tightrope like this. They want to see the wobble. So when you're able to show them your thought process, like, so there, okay, where should we go, right? They're seeing the wobble. That's why you go and watch improv. You do not go to watch improv just to watch flawless theatre, okay? If you want to do that, go and watch scripted theatre. So I feel very passionate about this. I'm not sure that everybody notices this. Now Ben is like a real actor. I'm going to put this here. All right, a real actor. He does real theatre as well, and he's done film and stuff. So he might have a different perspective on this. I'll get him to say that now. But for me personally, this is fine. Like what just happened there, because it's improv. It is theatre for the people. Okay, so that's my view on it.
Yeah,
Ben,
no,
what's yours?
I'd say like I'm like 70%, 80% on board with that. I mean, I think that this particular kind of improv was theater for the people, and so I didn't feel bad in revealing that. It's something I think I've threatened to do for a long time. Like, I always tell my students, like, if I don't know a character's name, I might just ask the other actor in the middle of the show, what was this character's name again? And,
Yeah.
you know, and I was like, and no one's ever going to come up to you after the show and be like, the best part or the worst part was when you asked for that character's name. How could you not know that name? It took me out of the show. It just doesn't, right? Like but what would take them out of the show is having three scenes happen, and it's very obvious that the actors didn't know which characters
Didn't
they
know.
were talking to. And
Yeah.
and then everyone just starts to feel terrible. And so this one, I genuinely didn't know. And we'd already kind of decided we were going to include the audience as a vibe here. So I
Yeah.
was like, all right, this is what's true for me in this moment. I don't know. Not only do I not know where we're going next, but I'm not ashamed that I don't know. I'm
Yes.
kind of excited that I don't know and I want to find out next. And then you just said best friend of some sort. And I'm like, great. I'd experiment doing this way again. I also feel very comfortable doing a show where we're just those characters and we're just there. One little critique I'd like to give myself for this show, because I've watched it back while editing it, is that I would want to make my characters more defined and different in both physicality and voice, like I often do. I just have to remember to do it because
Mm.
it makes things clearer and more fun for the audience and my fellow player. So
Yeah.
but you have to do that.
And to be fair, if you find yourself in a narrative and you're the protagonist, very often you don't necessarily play other characters, so it doesn't become something that you're really focused on. With me, because I'm more like wanting to be a side character, my characters are very well defined. Like the difference between my characters are usually very well defined. But that's because I'm used to playing a lot of characters.
Well,
Because
even more so
yeah.
than for the protagonist to do it then, because then people will just assume you're the protagonist in every scene.
Yeah, okay.
You
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
you have even more burden on
Mm.
yourself, and where you should do it even more. But thank you for that it makes sense if you know that you're playing side characters, that you better make all your side
Yeah,
characters.
you got it. You've got to,
Yeah.
because otherwise people just won't know who the fuck you are. Like when when you're
Yeah.
coming in. So very much so it's got to do with accent or voice or posture. You know, I mean, you'll notice my postures are completely different for all the characters in this show. For that reason, it just makes it easier, like for the other person to go, oh, okay, you know, when you're not doing hard edits. But we'll get to that at another stage, in another video about the hard edits thing.
This is great.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we stop here before the
I
next
reckon,
scene?
yeah, because then we
Yeah.
can start with this scene two, which was Ben says, "What should we do?" I say, "Best friend thing," because, and again, guys, this is a little bit of a hack to the hero's journey. There's a best friend.
There's a
There's
best
a best
friend.
friend. So
This makes
there's
it
going to be a
easier.
best friend somewhere. So just when in doubt, okay, we see the scene with
Yeah.
the best friend, right? So that's pretty much what I was thinking at the time. I was like, okay, I'm going to quickly go back through all the great things that we've done. And when there's a best friend, shit goes well. Let's stick to best friend when we talk about, you know, hero's journey and stuff. There's always, you know, Sam, Frodo, you know, there's always a best friend. There's always fucking
Right.
someone there that's like on that person's side. So yeah.
Right. Someone that can end up being kind of a mentor character or
Yeah.
not. You know, you'll see how it goes. Yeah, and I thank you for doing this with me because I've always when I've watched movies like audio commentary for a movie, I always want it to be like 4 times longer because there's so much to say about like each scene
So
that
much.
they miss and everything, and so
I'm
especially
holding
at the
back.
beginning. Yes. So it might end up being a different video for every scene depending on
Yeah.
how much we yap, but we just hope that our process of what was going on with our successes and our failures that were happening, our fears, our joys are able to be something that you can relate to and learn from, as we've learned from many people and learned from many of our own successes and failures.
Yeah, 100%. And again, guys, you know me, I'm an improv evangelist. Everybody can and should do improv. I'm going to say that. And so for me, this kind of opportunity, it shows people like how human it is, because it is theatre for the people. Okay, that's my belief about it. So yeah,
Yeah, it is a beautiful art form that I think everybody should do.
100%. All right, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. If we had the uke, we'd be singing it. Like and
That's
subscribe.
right. And just go to the next video now. It's right here, or it will be,
Yeah,
you know, pretty soon. It's there. Go
yeah,
watch it.
it's
See you
there.
there.
All right,
See you
see
in
you
the next
guys.
one. Bye.
Bye.